I'm going to tell you all about propagating elderberry cuttings. Right here we got a native elderberry. You can do named varieties, it's all the same thing. But right here I've got at the bottom my substrate. I've got coconut coir and perlite. About 70% cocoa coir, 30% perlite. Those numbers don't have to be exact. I'm going to keep that moist, and that perlite kind of helps prevent it from being over watered, from staying too moist. It allows the aeration to get in. Aeration is very important on cuttings because roots need to breathe air as well as they need water and nutrients. So it's an inert substrate, the coconut coir, unless you add stuff to it. So you don't want to keep this in here forever. These are probably ready to be repotted. And then you put that in regular potting soil and they're going to take off. This is a fairly fast growing plant, elderberry. A lot of them could potentially be dangerous to eat raw. You want to make sure you cook your elderberry before you eat it. But you want to put this in an area that's not going to get direct sun, because that will mess you up. Even and after you repot, you want to put it in a shaded area, and then over weeks transition that into more sun. You want your temperature where you're rooting to be an average temperature around the 70s. Right now I've got it in the greenhouse. We're in late January right now, but at least where we are, we wouldn't be able to do this outside right now because it's just too cold. But either indoors or in a greenhouse, or wait until your temperature warms up. And then also in the middle of summer it can be difficult as well. So right here's another batch I've got here, and I'm going to show you something real quick. So here it is, and you can tell it's time to repot it. Look at all the roots popping out. Easy peasy. What I do for shade, I've got it underneath these bananas. Put it under a tree. It's okay if it gets a tiny bit of sunlight, but you don't want full sunlight. And then one of the most important steps, put your tags on. Now this one's a native elderberry, so it's not as big of a deal, but if you had like named variety figs and stuff, you want a good tag that's not gonna fade. Be careful with Sharpie on a plastic tag. A lot of them don't necessarily last very long. Some of them do, don't get me wrong. There are better markers than others, better tags. I've got my own printer. This does a thermal print. It's very heavy duty tags. They work quite well, so you can't rub them off. Some of them don't print perfect, as you see right there. But that's just from the printer, that's not from wearing down.